Welcome to Mint Configuration Part 3. In this segment, we will focus on setting the system up so that it's ready to join the domain. To do this, we're going to set up the workstation so that it mounts the document folder shares. We're going to do that by creating the mount points and then modifying the Etsy security pam-mount.conf.xml file. After that, we're going to make sure that the new users receive the configured desktop settings. To do that, we're going to copy the profile into the Etsy scale, and then we're going to stop the system from creating its own default folders on a new user logon because we're going to be creating them ourselves. Finally, we're going to modify the downloads, music, pictures, and videos folders to be located within the documents folder. The goal of this is basically to force the users to save their data on the server. To download this complete video series in high definition and to learn about our other video series and consulting services, please visit our website at www.opensmallbusinesssolutions.com. Thank you. So let's get started. We're going to open up a terminal window and we're going to make directories for the different folders that we're trying to mount on the server. So we're going to make a directory for company, we're going to make a directory for accounting, we're going to make a directory for operations, and we're going to make a directory for sales. We're also going to change the permissions of these directories so that everyone has full access to them. Next, we're going to edit the PAM configuration file. So this is going to apply to all volume users. The file system type is going to be the Windows Server file system. We've got the IP address of the server. We've got the path to the share. That's the name of the currently logged on user. And this is going to be where we're going to mount the directory. In this case, the documents folder inside of the home folder. It's important to keep in mind that that documents folder needs to be empty or else this won't work, it won't mount. Rather than typing in that long string, I'm going to just copy and paste it 4 times for the other shares, and I'll edit the content. So the company share is going to mount into /media/company. The accounting share is going to mount into /media/accounting. The operations share is going to mount into /media/operations. And finally, the sales share is going to mount into /media/sales. So we can save our changes and exit out. Next, we're going to change it so that when a new user logs on, instead of creating the default folders, it'll just create what's in the Etsy SKEL. This is going to open up the file manager in super user mode. We're going to go into the directory that we just configured, local admin. We want to verify that the documents folder is empty, and it is. We're going to delete the folders that we don't want to appear. Basically, we want to force the user to save all their work into the documents folder. We don't want to delete the desktop though, because we've configured that. If we view hidden files, we can select all of them and copy them. We're going to go into the Etsy SKEL directory. And we want to paste those. And in this case we want to merge and overwrite everything. Okay, we can close out of that. I'm going to hit Control-C to cancel out of whatever was still running. And now we're going to edit the .profile file in the Etsy SKEL. We're going to go to the very end. We're going to make the downloads directory. Force our output into the device null. Now we're going to link that folder to the home downloads folder. And again, direct our output to the device null. So rather than type this all again, we're going to copy and paste it. We need 3 more copies. And then we're going to modify it. For this one, we're going to do the music. We're going to do the pictures. And finally, the videos. We could also do the same thing with the desktop, but in this scenario, I'm going to configure the desktops locally. That way I can actually configure the shortcuts on the desktops. If we were to put the desktops on the server, then those desktops could compete with the Windows desktops. We could wind up with shortcuts that don't make a whole lot of sense together, because the Windows shortcuts won't work on Linux and the Linux shortcuts won't work on Windows. We're going to save our changes and exit out. That concludes this section. So in this segment, we configured Linux Mint to set it up so that it's ready to connect to the domain. In the next segment, we'll back up the system, and then following that, we will actually connect it to the domain and see what we get.